off the airplane laughing and chatting with the Australian guards. I was slammed upside the wall by Border Patrol. Eyes forward, kicking my legs apart, putting handcuffs on me so hard they cut the blood off, leg irons forward. And they walked me about 100 yards, turned me over to the marshals. The marshals took some of the leg irons and stuff off, chained me to the wall and left me there all day. Then they took me to the Metropolitan Detention Center.
On Con Air?
No, I was just in a van. There was Los Angeles. They took me to Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles and put me in isolation. I said, what in the world am I in isolation for? Done nothing. And I was there 3 or 4 days, and I talked to the lieutenant when he come by in the morning. He said, nothing I can do for you, Reaves. So there's a guy came there, and he was in a suit, nice-looking fellow. He opened it up. He said, hello, Reaves. I just want to see what you look like. My name is Associates Warden Short, and I saw your National Geographic documentary of me, and it does me pleasure to keep you in isolation. And he shut the little Judas window, and that's the last I saw. I never could get out of there. So I stayed in 9 months without a hearing, which the parole board has to give you one within 3 months. They never did give me one. I paid a lawyer $7,500. His name was Cannon, up in San Francisco. He never once made a phone call, never somebody got to him. What was his name, Marty? Christopher Cannon.
Christopher
Cannon, the lawyer in San Francisco that the parole board said, don't touch it. And he stole my $7,500 and never made one phone call.
That bastard.
I mean, thoroughbred.
Yeah. Wow.
So
and what was the documentary he was talking about?
National Geographic come down to Australia, and they did one on me called Australia's Hardest Prison. And they did one. I got some action in that one.
Because I was looking for that online. I couldn't find it. I saw something on History Channel.
They take it off after a while, I understand. National Geographic does, and then they put it back on. It was real big at one time.
Okay. Yeah, I remember searching for it, and I couldn't find it.
I got a copy of it.
Okay.
I got several copies of it. I can send one if I want it.
So how long did you end up staying in Los Angeles Metropolitan?
They sent me on Con Air to Oklahoma. And there I got put on the floor, but I had to report to the officer every 2 hours or they was going to go back in the shoe. So yeah, I couldn't believe it. And I just saw the corruption of the Con Air and whatever congressman or senator owns that. I met people,
explain that. That's interesting.
I met people from Waycross, Georgia, Albany, Georgia, Jacksonville, Florida, and they got caught with 2 grams of something, 3 grams, 5 grams. They facing 5 years, and they mentally probably a little problems with mental. A lot of prisoners do. Mm-hmm. And they were being sent to Los Angeles for psychiatric evaluation. And it takes about 3 months to go and a month or 2 to come back. And they stay in Oklahoma, and they go from one place to another on Con Air until they finally get to some doctor in Los Angeles that says that they have a problem or not. And then I met the ones from Los Angeles and San Francisco, and they were going to Atlanta, Georgia to have psychiatric evaluation.
So no matter where you got busted for these small-time drug offenses, they would find a psychic or a psychiatric psychologist on the opposite end of the country.
So they could shuffle you back and forth.
So they had a reason to fly Con Air all
right.
around the country.
It's just blatant ripping off the government. That's as bad as I've ever seen.
Who owns Con Air? Is Con Air?
I don't think you better ask. I might be back in prison.
That's interesting. Who can you find out maybe on Google like who owns Con Air? You would think that would just be part of the BOP, right?
No, it's somebody owns it. The other BOP wouldn't be doing that.
How many airplanes do they have? Does
I saw 3 big jets.
There's 3 jets.
And then they got a lot of. That's all I know. But that tower in Oklahoma, which is center, has got 1,800 rooms, and those planes are landing and coming in there day and night. It's just like Grand Central Station of federal prisoners.
Wow.
Why are they moving them like that? I don't know. Somebody's making big, big money.
Whoa. That is kind of wild. I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
He's trying to inch it over. If you just double click the top, yeah.
It probably won't tell you the truth.
fleet size 59, parent company Con Air Group Inc. Headquarters Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. They have 59 planes, Con Air Group Inc. So it's a corporation.
Yep.
Whoa.
They own some politicians, I guarantee you that.
Oh, yeah. They're, wow, man. Wow, that's, what year did you get out?
I got out last year.
Last year you got out.
Not 14 months right now.
Wow, man. Wow.
I stayed in another 9 months. It was harder than the 18 years in Australia in isolation here for a parole violation from 1977 for possession of marijuana, that somebody was after me. They wouldn't let the lawyer talk, and they wouldn't let me out of isolation.
So what happened after you were in that 9 months isolation in Los Angeles?
They let me out, and I went home. And
you were a free man.
No, I was on parole, and I didn't know how long I'd be on parole.
But you were at least you were
I
able
was
to go home.
with my wife, and the COVID was out, and the parole officers didn't come, and so after a year, they said, "We dropped the parole. You're free." I got my passport. I got my driver's license. I got my pilot's license.
Wow.
So I'm ready to go.
Wow, man. What an incredible, fascinating story.
So I went back and got my pilot's license and went down and rented a plane for a day. I had a good time.
So what's your goals now? What's next for Roger Reaves? What's next what's the next chapter for you?
I just don't know what's going to. I'm going to take it one day at a time. I'm just happy to be home with Mari.
No more plane loads of marijuana.
No, that's over. They got over the horizon radar.
Oh, that's incredible. You and your wife, the bond that you guys were able to form, and the way you guys were able to stay together for that long period of time, even though you were gone for 33 years, is just so amazing.
I never heard of it.
I've never heard of it. I've never heard of that. I mean, it's rare you hear of that with people that didn't go to prison.
Yeah.
Let alone did have to be isolated for 33 years.
It's just unbelievable she waited that long.
What is the key? What's the secret? What's the secret? Tell me the secret.
Well, she's a Christian person. She's lovely. I mean, she's just like too good for this earth. I said, "What did you tell him, Mari? You're a beautiful woman." She said, "I told him I'm not available," and said that worked.
Yeah.
So bless her heart. It waited on me all that time. I tell you, when I came home, there was the same table, a round oak table that I had sanded in, and there was the same placemats that I had left 35 years ago, last thing. There was the same silverware and the same plates. I just sat there and cried. Just like, it took me 3 days. I couldn't even look at pictures of her when she was 40 and when she was 50 and when she was 60. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So it was.
How did it make you feel?
Made me feel sick. Still, I don't like to look at the pictures. And I was gone that many years. Half of my life, I was in those prison cells. It just was. Maybe I broke the law and I'm an outlaw, but I'm not much of a criminal. I don't hurt nobody. I'm for good in this world. Just got caught up in this and did it.
Yeah.